The moon is Earth's only natural satellite. It orbits an average distance of 238,900 miles, about 30 times the diameter of Earth. Tidal forces between Earth and the moon have synchronized the moon's orbital period, lunar month, with its rotational period, lunar day, at 29.5 Earth days, causing the same side of the moon to always face Earth. The moon's gravitational pull, and to lesser extent, the sun are the main drivers of Earth's tides. The moon doesn't have any light of its own, but like the Earth, it reflects the light of the sun. It takes the moon about 27 days to complete an orbit of the Earth. And as it moves, sunlight strikes the surface again. Like the Earth, half of the moon's surface is illuminated by sunlight. It is day side, while the other half remains dark. It is night side. The phase of the moon is determined by how much of the sunlight side we can see from the Earth. For example, when the moon is new, it is between the Earth and the sun. It is on the daytime side of the Earth, while its own sunlight side is turned away from Earth. We are therefore unable to see it into the sky, as no part of its sunlight surface is visible to us, not to mention it appears too close to the sun in our daytime sky. At the opposite end of the scale, when the moon is full, the Earth is between the moon and the sun. The moon is then on the night side on the Earth, with its fully illuminated sunlight side facing us, and as a result, we see a full moon. The new moon signifies the start of a new lunar cycle. Most significantly, it occurs when the moon is 0 degrees away from the sun in the sky. Beyond that, the term can only apply to the first appearance of the moon after it turns new. When this happens, the moon appears as thin silver in the evening's twilight after the sunset, depending upon your location and the time of the year. This could occur any time from about 15 hours after the moon turns new. However, you will need to have sharp eyes, know where to look, and it will appear very low over the horizon and will only be visible for few minutes before it follows the sun and disappears from the view. You will typically see a waxing crescent moon in the evening twilight from about 24 hours after it turns new. At this time, it appears as very thin silver. With a few features visible on its surface, the moon is said to be waxing as it moves from new to full, and its disk becomes more illuminated. Beside the crescent, you can also see the remainder of the disk that's illuminated by the sun. Your eyes alone won't reveal much, but binoculars will show the moon's dark features illuminated by a dim, slightly bluish light. The effect is known as the Earthshine, and it's also called it because the darkened portion of the lunar surface is actually being illuminated by light reflected from the Earth. At this point, it is orbit. The moon is over the sunlight portion of the Earth's surface. As a result, sunlight is reflected off the Earth and strikes the moon, illuminating its darkened surface. You will see the same effect on the waning crescent moon. About a week after turning new, the moon reaches the first quarter. Confusingly, this is when the moon appears as a half moon in the evening sky, but its name has a more programmatic origin. At this point, the moon has completed 1/4 of its orbit around the Earth, and since this is the first completed quarter following the new moon, this phase is called the first quarter. The first quarter rises around midday and appears toward the south at sunset, making it visible in the afternoon and evening sky. Like the crescent phase, this is also a great time to observe the moon with a telescope, as you will see a lot of craters casting shadows. There are roughly another 7 days between the first quarter and the full moon, and it is at this time that the moon is a waxing gibbous. The midpoint, about 3 to 4 days after the first quarter, is when the waxing gibbous moon is at its best. To some extent, it might look a little odd at this time. It is not a half and it is not full either, so it will appear convex shape instead. With its side bulging as it passes, you will see its shape become more circular as a greater portion of its surface moves into the daylight. When there are just few days before the full moon, it can appear almost circular, but if you look carefully, you will notice it is still a little misshaped. The full moon occurs when it's precise 180 degrees from the sun in the sky. Like the new moon, the moon only occupies this position for a fleeting amount of time. So, anything less than 180 degrees is technically a waxing moon, while everything is more waning moon. That said, most people consider the moon to be full for about a day or so, on either side of the actual date. At this time, the moon rises at sunset. It is highest over the southern horizon around the midday or 1 a.m. if your location is currently observing daylight saving time, and then sets at sunrise. Next is the last quarter, a third quarter, when the moon has completed 3/4 of its orbit and is now starting the fourth and final quarter. In the last quarter, you will see a half moon in the morning sky. It will rise around midday and then appears toward the south at sunrise before setting around midday. Next, the waning crescent. Since the moon is now moving around to the daylight side of the earth, this is also a great time to look for sunshine illuminating the unlit portion of the lunar surface. And it's the time of the year when the tidal waves always causes some pressure at the ocean that causes a lot of the living things in the ocean to throw out. So take advantage of the moon when it is on, when it is off. It's always shining one side of the world while the other side of the world is dark. We always take it for granted, and it's always been here as long as human race still exists. So let us not be a little bit selfish. Enjoy this light. The phenomenons always will stay.